Chennai continues to be underwater for the most part, but today things are calm. The weather is a little clear. It isn't raining, but is today the calm before the storm. Chennai continues to fight waterlogging even as the city braces for one of the worst forecasts in recent memory. The Met Department has issued a red alert for Chennai along with other delta districts in Tamil Nadu, including Puducherry, south of Tamil Nadu, and Karaikal. Heavy rain is predicted for Chennai and nearby areas. Chief Minister Stalin has inspected several of the worst hit parts of the city and state, visiting from the control room. Here's more. Remember, the next 48 hours will tell the story about whether Chennai relives the nightmare of 2015 or it escapes. The worst rain since the 2015 deluge. A city battling rain pain, and now Chennai is bracing for what could be even more trouble. With a red alert for heavy rain for Wednesday and Thursday, the rain-soaked city now remains on edge.
Unfortunately, for the last 3 days, residents have been telling us that this has been the situation here. And now we're seeing that the IMD has warned that there will be severe rainfall in the next coming days. So it is a matter of huge concern. We're seeing that lot of work is being put on the ground by the corporation as well.
The state of Tamil Nadu has already received 46% excess rain compared to the average, leaving at least 5 dead and thousands displaced across the state. But the worst may not be over. With a low-pressure area and a cyclonic circulation in the South Bay of Bengal, a red alert has been sounded for the delta districts of Tamil Nadu, including Nagapattinam, Cuddalore, for the next 2 days.
People in low-lying areas are stationed in relief centers and they've been fed properly. And as far as Chennai is concerned, we are expecting extremely heavy rainfall tomorrow. That means about more than 20 centimeters rainfall in Chennai and the surrounding districts.
Chief Minister M.K. Stalin visited several rain-hit areas across the city, his convoy wading through the waterlogged metropolis. India Today tracked the rain preparedness from Chennai's flood war room, which was visited by the Chief Minister himself.
You can see how the numbers are going off the hook every minute. There are agents addressing every complaint, and so far from the 6th of November till the 8th of November, around 8,089 complaints were received, and all these complaints are being addressed one after the other, is what officials have told us.
India Today also saw hectic preparations underway in the flood control room meant for the rest of the state.
It is being predicted that this, by 11th, the intensity should increase. Because of that, Cuddalore to Chennai, good amount of rainfall will be received. And that's the reason officials are on the ground. Officials claim that we are requesting the people to be careful. They're buy and stack up essential items, and not just that, they are requesting people not to venture out for one day, that is from today to tomorrow afternoon, unnecessarily, and take all precautions.
With rain and waterlogging came soaring vegetable prices, pinching the common Chennaiite.
What we are seeing here in most vegetable and fruit shops is a rise in price. And most of the vendors have been telling us that the reason for the price hike is because of the bad weather, lack of availability of goods coming because of the rains, and also increase in diesel prices.
Will Chennai once again go through the flood nightmare that plagued it 7 years ago? The next 48 hours are totally crucial. With Akshay Nath and Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today. So we always want to give you the very latest information. So I want to take you and draw your attention to the latest satellite, real-time satellite imagery that we have here on India Today to give you a sense of what things are looking like right off the coast of Chennai right now. Right here on this particular image, let me show you what the satellite image as far as the rain clouds are concerned. Very clear picture telling you just how intense things are right off the coast of Chennai. That's Nellore over there, that's Chennai there, that's Puducherry there. And this is what the coast of Chennai and the coast of Tamil Nadu actually looks like. Even if you don't completely appreciate what the contours mean, the picture tells you just how bad things are as far as cloud cover is concerned. The lighter areas, less clouds. The darker areas are going to be moving in later today. And that's what this entire red alert is all about. Now let's show you a little bit about what the wind is looking like at this point of time. This is the low pressure cyclonic formation right off the coast of Puducherry and Chennai that's moving in a northwesterly direction and is likely to create that heavy rainfall over the next 48 hours. So that's what this entire situation is really all about. If you look at this formation over the next few hours, it's moving inward, inward, inward. As the time goes on, it's going to be crossing over into Chennai. The low pressure crosses there, and that's the reason why the Met Department is giving you a big forecast of heavy rain, possibly nightmarish rain and thunderstorms over the next 48 hours. Now let me tell you what the advisories from the Tamil Nadu government at this point of time are. Some of them are basic advisories, but it's very important to remember these because of how bad 2015 has been. Stay away from all sewerage lines and drains, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in Chennai. Stay away from electric poles, obviously. Low-lying areas all over the city and state have been put on high alert. People are requested to keep power backups ready, keep your devices charged. Don't allow children to play in or near flood waters. Try and move to relief camps if you are in an emergency area. Contact helpline numbers, keep them handy. All of those will be flashing on your screen very soon. So please, I advise you to note those down if you possibly can. Do not step out unnecessarily. It goes without saying, do not step out unnecessarily. All right, I want to go across now to India Today. Is Akshay Nath, who's live from the T Nagar area of Chennai. Pramod Madhav reporting from the State Emergency Control Room Center. And in a moment, we'll also be joined by a weather expert to give us a real-time view of how bad things could get over the next 48 hours. Pramod and Akshay, to you first. Pramod, 48 hours will answer the question that every Chennaiite is asking about whether 7 years after the nightmare of 2015, are they going to relive that same kind of apocalyptic week? What's it looking like, Pramod?
Well, we put forward this question to the person who is responsible for disaster management. That is the Minister of Revenue, SSKR, and he very clearly mentioned that there will not be a repetition of 2015 floods. But however, water inundation seems to be a very big problem when it comes to Chennai. This is just a normal road in Tenampet. You can see the water level in just one rain. This is not from the Sunday rains, but just from now. And imagine until tomorrow afternoon, we are going to have rain. So this is a very big issue. Be it Tena, be it KK Nagar, be it Ashok Nagar, be it North Chennai, several parts, Vyasapadi, Kolattur, Korattur, every other location, water stagnation is a very big issue. But authorities claim that this time they have already opened up Chembrambakam and various other reservoirs around the city to make sure that excess water is already released, and the officials have also been given permission to, whenever they have to calculate and accordingly release water to make sure that there is no repetition of 2015. This is a kind of word that the Minister and the Revenue Secretary has given to us. We have it on record as well. So hope that no such thing occurs.
Akshay, what kind of advice is being shared with citizens at this time? I remember last time, the entire social media and the internet was, became mobilized because a lot of people hadn't charged their phones. There was, a desperate lack of access to baby food and essential items. Is it going to be anywhere near as bad as that? And how are citizens mentally preparing themselves?
Well, Shiv, to be realistic, this year, the kind of scenario that's panning out in the state of Tamil Nadu and especially in the capital city of Chennai is much worse than 2015. What we've seen this time is that excessive rainfall of close to 50% by just November. And this is just the beginning of the northeast monsoon. Whereas in 2015, by this time, the rainfalls had started only in November, and December was when we had seen the peak flooding. But now in November, just the first glimpse of northeast monsoon itself, we're seeing that there's inundation, there's flooding.
Yes.
All that is attributed to the round-the-year rainfall that we've got, one. And as far as the protection and advisories are concerned, they're very basic shift. Speaking to the Greater Chennai Corporation Commissioner, he told us that all the people in low-lying areas be alert. In case of emergency, call the helpline numbers or move to the emergency unit. And as far as children are concerned, not let them outside and keep them indoors itself is an advice. And all those people who can stay indoors and not go out for work, please do. That was another thing. And most importantly, he said stock up on food, groceries, medicines and drinking water, because the previous time also during the 2015 floods, though the rainfall was there only for a day or two, the flood scenario continued for the next couple of days, and that is what we are seeing exactly now. The Sunday's rains repercussions is still felt, with many places still inundated, and now the rainfalls have started here. Shiv, the predictions of intense rainfall post 2 o'clock, and now we are seeing that there is rainfall in most part of Chennai city, and this will continue for the next 24 hours is the prediction. So it needs to be a very tough scenario for the corporation officials. 507 motor pumps have been deployed in different localities, and they've been telling us repeatedly that all the water stagnated areas, motorized pumps are being placed also. So we need to wait and watch, Shiv, but this is a very unfortunate scenario for the citizens of Chennai, and all of them have to stay strong.
Absolutely. Stay with me, Pramod and Akshay. I also want to welcome onto our broadcast K. Srikanth, who's a very well-known weather blogger, who comments and provides expert words on this ongoing situation. Srikanth, welcome. We've painted a picture for our viewers, Srikanth, about why this has happened, the preparations, the response, etc. But I want to make this show, the limited time we have, as useful to our viewers as possible, especially the people in Chennai and Tamil Nadu, which is, what would your advice be? There's a red alert that is now in force. We've shown them the satellite maps. It looks pretty ominous. The rains have already begun. There is a sense that, it could be, a sort of revisiting of what happened in 2015. How are you advising people your friends, your colleagues, as far as preparing for this?
Good evening, Shiv. Yeah, Evan, you showed the satellite map a few minutes back.
Yes.
It pretty much sums up the situation, actually. You could see the banding, the depression. IMD is expecting it as a depression in the next 6 hours. You could see the banding, actually. That's actually the sign of an intensifying system. So obviously, the system is intensifying. The well-marked low is intensifying to depression today and possibly could become a deep depression also tomorrow. So yes, heavy rains are expected, no doubts about it. And for the next 24 to 36 hours, we are going to see fairly heavy rains across the coastal areas of Tamil Nadu, with some parts of the north coastal belt coming under extreme rains, because this depression is expected to cross somewhere to the south of Chennai, maybe somewhere around Mahabalipuram or something, though IMD is expecting it closer to Cuddalore. So if the system intensifies, possibly it will push the landfall point a little further north than what a weak system possibly would have made a landfall. So what we are talking of is that the next 24 or possibly even 36 hours is extremely critical in terms of what not only Chennai, but rest of the coastal Tamil Nadu is going to face, and possibly South Andhra coast as well. I would suggest people not to venture out unnecessarily, because you suddenly start seeing the rains increasing when the depression starts moving northwest towards the coast of Tamil Nadu. Now, obviously, it could mean that, say, for example, you've gone out hoping that the next couple of hours is going to be dry, but then your return could be in issue because of a sudden burst of rain or whatever. So unless until it's absolutely necessary, I would suggest people not to venture out, starting from tonight until IMD possibly gives a clearance saying that, okay, the depression is...
Srikanth, you were referring to the map. I'm just going to take a moment and put that rain map back on so our viewers can see it. And then I'm going to ask you the question, Srikanth, about... there is a sense also that the worst of the 2015 flooding happened in December. Here we are having this discussion still in November. Is that something that should make the people of Chennai nervous? Is the city prepared? We're seeing this scale of record rainfall already in November. Does that, is that an ominous sign as far as December is concerned?
I would not compare individual years because each year is different.
Yeah.
But if you look at how people have reacted, is the memories of 2015 is fresh for many people, especially people who have been in the low-lying areas, have lost their livelihoods, have lost their belongings, etc. So the memories are very fresh for many of them, which means that a lot of them are sort of proactively looking at should they make any arrangements to safeguard things.
Yeah.
So in a way, I think at the people level also, there's a lot more awareness and a lot more proactive thinking in terms of being ready for sort of a localized flooding episode or whatever, considering whichever areas they are in. So that way, I would say possibly we are better off than 2015 that way. And also, I would say among all the metros, possibly Chennai possibly has sort of a much more mature weather-wise community as well. I would not call it as because of the various weather bloggers who are there, but there are a lot of people who have taken interest to weather, common people who have taken interest to weather.
Yeah.
Possibly 2015 drove that thinking.
Yeah.
But Chennai as a city, I think possibly is now one of the cities with the most weather-wise community, I would say, across the country. So that's a good thing as well. So we are all ready in terms of how to react.
Yeah.
But yes, there are going to be issues because the rainfall is going to be extreme at times. And if we are going to see a slow-moving system or a system which is going to stall somewhere because it's going to intensify or it's going to change track, then possibly we are going to look at some part of time where the rainfall is going to be extremely heavy over one area alone. So, yes, there are...
And Srikanth, what you were mentioning just now, I just want to, while you remain on the screen, I want to show what Srikanth was actually referring to. This is what the satellite picture at this point of time, 0 minutes ago, 5:18 p.m. This is a live satellite picture of what the coast of Tamil Nadu actually looks like. So as Srikanth was mentioning, the speed of the system, the next 24 to 36 hours are actually going to answer many of the questions. You can't compare year on year. That's a very important piece of expert comment that Srikanth has given us, that don't compare the actual years as far as this is concerned. So we'll have to see how things actually go. If you look at the system actually moving, this is a sense of how the cyclonic system over the Bay of Bengal is actually moving. I mean, these pictures tell their own story. That's how it's actually moving, and that's the reason. This is practically in real time in a simulation. We're showing you why there's a red alert now off the coast of Tamil Nadu. I'd like to thank Srikanth. I'd also like to thank both Pramod and Akshaya. Both of our team members are going to be out there in Chennai. Akshita Nandagopal will be in Chennai later this evening. She'll be out there as well. We have the best team covering the Chennai flood situation. We've got you covered, and that's something we take very, very seriously. So thank you for watching our coverage. Meanwhile, as Chennai buckles under this deluge, the blame game obviously is erupted between who else? The DMK and the AIADMK. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has blamed the previous AIADMK government for not using funds properly that were allocated by the Centre for the Smart City project. Stalin added he doesn't know where all the funds have gone and said once floods are over, the government will form an inquiry committee to look into the matter. Chief Minister Stalin also accused former AIADMK Minister S.P. Velumani of taking commissions and not doing his work to protect the city. Meanwhile, in no time, the AIADMK has hit back at the Stalin government. Speaking to India Today, AIADMK leader C. Ponnayan said allegations made by the Chief Minister were false and baseless.
இருக்கலாம் ஏன்னா அவங்க வந்து 5000 கோடி ரூபாய் வந்து இதுக்காக ஒதுக்கணும் ஸ்மார்ட் சிட்டியில் ஒதுக்கி இருக்கிறோம் அப்படிலாம் சொன்னாங்க. ஆனால் என்ன வேலை நடந்துச்சுன்னு தெரியல. இதெல்லாம் முடிஞ்சதுக்கு பிறகு அது பெரிய விசாரணை நிச்சயமாக அமைக்கும். நிச்சயமாக செம்பரம்பாக்கம் மாதிரி கூட வந்திருக்கும்னு நினச்சோம். ஆனால் நல்ல வேலை நான் முன்னெச்சரிக்கையாக நாங்கள் நடவடிக்கை எடுத்ததுனால நாங்கள் அதை ஃபாலோ பண்ணிவிட்டு 24 மணி நேரமும் அதை வாட்ச் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். ஒன்றும் எந்த இது வந்தாலும் சமாளிக்கிறதுக்கு.
This is the practice pursued and adopted by Stalin and his father in the past. They are imagining that would have taken place in Edappadi government also. It is not at all a fact. The cleanest chief minister who has carried out things with full perfection is only Edappadi Palanichami's government. Velumani's achievements are being enviously seen by the DMK. That is why false cases against Velumani, that's all. They are all going to be proved in the court.
I will not like to comment about anything about political content, but yes, every city has got challenges because cities expand. So when the cities expand and infrastructure keeps on getting added up, and in the areas where infrastructure is added up, the problems are not there. But in the expanded areas, the problems do come and new issues come. But yes, infrastructure has been added in every year by the city corporation, and the best, it is the endeavor of the local bodies everywhere to ensure that stormwater drains and infrastructure keeps on getting added so as to avoid any problems to the citizens at the time of flooding. But then every city has problems of waterlogging during the rainy season.
Meanwhile, the Madras High Court has pulled up the Greater Chennai Corporation after incessant rainfall has left the city bruised and battered. The High Court rapped the civic body for failing to take adequate measures to prevent flooding in the city during the rains over the weekend. The High Court has questioned what authorities were doing for the past 6 years following the 2015 nightmare. The court even warned the civic body of initiating unilateral or suo motu proceedings if it failed to bring the present situation under control. The Madras High Court Chief Justice Sanjeev Banerjee said, and I quote, "It is such a pity that half the year the city for water and for the rest of the half people are dying in water. This cannot be the condition of a leading state in the country."
Of course, we have just taken over, I have personally taken over just some time back only. Previous years, whatever all the infrastructure projects have been taken up, we will inform the Honorable Court.